Hey everyone! So, I know it's been a while since I've done any videos, but there's a lot of Smash Bros. Info coming out recently. There's some details about the debate if Snake is coming back. Um, there was a brief mention that might have indicated that he'd be back, and then we find out that was false. So I'm going to go over some of these details, discuss my opinions on them, and comments other people made on these subjects. And there's also a Nintendo Direct coming out this week on Tuesday. So this is kind of my pre-Direct analysis. The new Nintendo Direct is actually a Super Smash Bros. Direct, which is a little bit different. It's specifically devoted to Smash Bros. So let's take a look at this and see, just talk about what's going on. A JaidynReiman video game analysis. Today's topic: the latest Super Smash Bros. News. Hey guys, JaidynReiman here, bringing you the latest Smash Bros. News and updates. Yeah, I did grab that right from Tails' channel. I'm not trying to mimic him or anything, it's just that his over-the-top intros usually just kind of, it's like, so... okay, let's jump right into this discussion really quick. I'm going to be, let's talk about Smash Bros. So, first of all, let's get into this discussion about Snake. Starting off, I have to say that every other character other than Snake is most likely back. Pokemon trainer is a little questionable, but Snake, I don't think he's coming back, especially because of this. Kojima wants Snake in the new Smash Bros., but it's not likely to happen. What happens is that Hideo Kojima briefly touched the possibility of the character returning for Wii U 3DS during a live stream event, which was, this was a couple weeks ago. I'm looking at this article on Nintendo Everything. I will provide a link to you in the description below. Kojima's comments in full. I'm not working on that game, so I don't know. But I don't think that's likely. I just don't know. Well, if Mr. Sakurai is watching this, please use Snake. Just that comment right there, yeah. Here's the thing. This comment came out 3 weeks ago. I'm sure everyone's heard about it by now, but I wanted to just touch on this a little bit, and we'll jump into the also the discussion about Raiden. So, first of all, it's so late in development now. There's no way, if Snake is not finalized yet, there's no way he's getting in the main game. Maybe DLC. I suppose it's possible, but personally, it doesn't seem like it's coming back. There was another question rumor which I mentioned in the intro about Ruben Langdon playing Snake in Smash Bros. And it's just funny because a lot of people, there was a lot of discussion going on over this whole thing, with people commenting on people were commenting on, for example, how PlayStation All-Stars, Raiden was in PlayStation All-Stars, even though he wasn't in Brawl. He was in PlayStation All-Stars, but Ruben Langdon did not play Raiden in PlayStation All-Stars. However, a lot of people were also discussing the possibility that Ruben Langdon was actually doing motion capture Raiden, which, because he does voice acting and motion capture. It's just really weird how he would get that mixed up, because he should know this kind of thing. Yeah, also, apparently it was a it was an interview by Game Voices. It was April. It was the April Game Voices interview. I have a link on gamrReview, which I'll provide as well, which discusses the topic, and there was a lot of discussion over this. A lot of people debating on what he could actually be meaning, and the general thing is that they were thinking he might have leaked him appearing in Smash Bros. Obviously, if Raiden would probably have been in as a either an assist trophy or in the codec. What was it? The codec? I don't know what it's called, but basically Snake's conversations with his crew, which were, of course, they were in Smash Bros. Brawl. But it was quickly debunked, where they went correct himself, and it was in fact for PlayStation All Stars, and went for motion capture instead, because Quentin Flynn always voiced Raiden. It's just weird though, because that was it was discussed in game voices, and he goes and talked about how he always wanted to play Raiden in Smash. Always wanted to play Raiden from Metal Gear, and there's a lot of now this whole thing is already blown over. We already know that it's gone and everything. But before this actually came out, I've been reading a lot about it. Before it came out that he did in fact make a mistake. There was people talking about it, and I actually was reading an article that was discussing. It was an article that was talking about this whole thing, and in the comments there was a lot of people jumping back and forth saying, well. There's people jumping back and forth saying, if you want Snake to be in Smash, then put Metal Gear on Wii U. Okay, fine. But there's this other guy who was sitting there jumping back at them again. He started going back at them and saying, well, if you want to say that, then have Capcom put Mega Man on Wii U. Have Capcom put Mega Man on Wii U. Have Capcom put Mega Man on 3DS. You should have no excuses for that. I'm like, okay, look at the games. Just look at the games. Alright, well, due to this whole discussion, let's just go and take a look at the Metal Gear series. Let's just take a look at it and see how each game is placed. The original Metal Gear game was on the Super Nintendo and was released in 1995. There was apparently also an earlier version of Metal Gear in 1987 for MSX2, whatever that is. There's just a whole lot of... There's a number of games in the series. Metal Gear, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid, and then they've got the whole Metal Gear Solid series. So, here's the games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's 10 games in the series so far. So, Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 are both on the Super Nintendo. That's where they originally came from, of course, and that's kind of like the only reason they were even able to get in, because at least they were on Nintendo consoles at first. Starting with Metal Gear Solid, it was only released on PlayStation. Yeah, in fact, this was it was on PlayStation, Windows, PlayStation Network, and PlayStation 3. It later came out for PlayStation 3 as well. Metal Gear Solid itself never actually appeared on any other consoles. They did have a remake called Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes for GameCube. The original game was in 98. Twin Snakes was 2004, and that was the first Metal Gear Solid game on Nintendo console. That was on GameCube, and I guess that would be about the closest you can see to having Metal Gear on a Nintendo console proper. There's also Sons of Liberty. This one also went on Xbox as well. It was released on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Windows. No signs of Nintendo release at all on this one. Metal Gear Solid 3. PlayStation 2. Xbox, it was later re-released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, as well as Vita. And then they also had Snake Eater 3D for 3DS. But it's still a remake of this game, and in fact, 2 never even ended up on Nintendo console. That was 2010. The game was released in 2012. That's the only thing that's happened for Metal Gear since Smash Bros. On Nintendo consoles. PlayStation Portable. The Guns of the Patriots. No signs of Nintendo appearance at all. Metal Gear Solid 4 was on PlayStation 3. In fact, this one, number 4, never even ended up on that. And it never ended up on even Xbox. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, once again, PlayStation Portable. Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. No signs of it being on Nintendo at all. It was for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows. In other words, PC. And Ground Zeroes is on every currently supported console except for Wii U. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. There's absolutely no signs of, other than remakes. In fact, even the original Metal Gear game was a remake. Wait, that was on NES, not SNES. Dang. But yeah, most of these games that actually appeared on Nintendo consoles were remakes. Even the original one that was a remake of a previous game. This is just ridiculous. So people are sitting there complaining about Metal Gear. They're saying you should be arguing, making this argument about Metal Gear not having a Nintendo presence when Mega Man doesn't, or Mega Man is on Wii U. It's just a ridiculous claim. Alright, so now I found a list of Mega Man games. Now, first of all, and most people should already know this though, but the original Mega Man games were all of them were on Nintendo consoles. They were on, the first 6 were on the NES. Mega Man 6 was on... Actually, okay, maybe it's the first 5. Nope, Mega Man 6 was too. The first 6 Mega Man games were all on Nintendo. Mega Man 7 was the first Super Nintendo Mega Man game. Then there was Mega Man X, which I know was on Super Nintendo. Mega Man X, Mega Man X, Mega Man X2, and Mega Man X3. Yeah. The Mega Man X3 was first released on Super Famicom / SNES. It actually got a release on Saturn? That I did not know. It was also later released on PlayStation as well, which is fine, but those were re-releases. The original one was on SNES. Then there was Mega Man X Collection for GameCube and PlayStation 2. This one has X through X6. Again, this is a GameCube release. I'm pretty sure the original X5 and X6, maybe even X4, were not released on Nintendo consoles. I think they were all PlayStation only. Yeah. So starting with X4, they were only released on PlayStation. Although, I guess Mega Man X4 also made to Saturn. But regardless, 4 through 6 were originally released only on PlayStation. Oh. And all of them are re-released on Mega Man X Collection, which was, of course, on GameCube, which is a Nintendo console. There's also X7, X8, and Command Mission. X7 sucks, but it was still released. This one was only released on PS2. First game on the PS2, which is the first on that generation. It does not appear to have gotten a re-release on GameCube or anything. Yeah, but no one liked the game anyway. Ditto for X8. X8 did not make it to GameCube either. But either way, those will be the first two Mega Man X games that never made to a Nintendo console. Command Mission I know is on GameCube because I have it for GameCube. I really should get Mega Man X Collection one time. But just look at all these. The Mega Man series, the Mega Man X series, all of them were on Nintendo consoles. Let's also check out Mega Man 9 and 10, the remakes. I'm not sure if these were released on Nintendo or not, but it'd be weird for them not to have been. Yeah, they were on WiiWare. They were on everything. They were on PlayStation Network, Xbox Live Arcade, WiiWare. That was 9, 10, WiiWare, PlayStation Network, Xbox Live Arcade. And let's not even get into the handhelds. So, of course, there was Mega Man Legends, which people obviously love. Zero, ZX, and Star Force. These are pretty all on Nintendo consoles. Mega Man Legends 2. Sorry, Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Legends 2. Mega Man Legends. This was on Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and later released for PSP. It's the actual first, I believe, 3D Mega Man game. I've never actually played Legends. I've heard they were great games, though. Now, it does appear that Mega Man Legends 2 did not make it to a Nintendo console. Regardless, just look at the history. Mega Man X, the grand majority of the games were all on Nintendo consoles. Mega Man Legends 1 was on N64. Battle Network is an entirely Nintendo series. Battle Network was on the Game Boy Advance mostly. And then there was Network Transmission, which was based on the Battle Network series, which was for GameCube, which I actually had. In fact, I think I still have it. I need to go and check. But all of these things were in for Nintendo consoles. Mega Man 0. I'm actually not sure what these were on. I'm pretty sure they were... Mega Man 0 was for Game Boy Advance. That's what I thought. They were for Game Boy Advance. Zeros 1 through 4. Game Boy Advance. They were all for Game Boy Advance. ZX is DS. I know that. Star Force was also DS. Yeah, Nintendo DS. Nintendo DS. Just look at all these things. There's about, what is it, 7? There's 7 Mega Man series, and the grand majority of all the games are on Nintendo consoles. Compare that to the Metal Gear series. Look at this, Metal Gear. There's like 3 Metal Gear games on Nintendo consoles. There's no comparison. I'm sorry. Yes, Mega Man has tons more games, but that doesn't change the fact that there are far more games on Nintendo consoles. I missed this. This would have been a lot easier. Let's just look at this right here. Wait a minute. Mega Man 8 didn't make it to Nintendo? I was positive it was. Well, it did later make it to, of course, Mega Man Collection. But I guess Mega Man 8 originally was not on Nintendo consoles. That is weird. I did not know that. I thought it was. Regardless, it was later released in the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, which was on GameCube, and I did have that. There is just no comparison between these two things, so people complain about this is just ridiculous. Oh, I will provide these links. You can take a look at them if you want, but there's just no comparison. Mega Man is far more of a Nintendo franchise than Metal Gear is. So, among other things that are being about, people have been speculating a lot about, for example, a Namco character, of course. I could see a Namco character, but the whole problem with that is most likely to be Pac-Man. Pac-Man would be, I don't know. Pac-Man would just be a very weird, not weird. He'd be the best choice from Namco, unfortunately, but he just isn't that great of a character overall. I've also found another interesting little tidbit here, which I can provide. Here's a little tidbit here from the official Nintendo magazine. The setup. An anonymous letter arrives, imploring the professor to investigate a sinister underground fighting tournament. The professor says, "Perhaps my most disturbing mystery. It seems the shouting Nintendo Corporation had decided it had 2 main mascots, inviting them to outlandish locations across the globe, and then forcing them to fight to the death in order to ascertain who was worthiest to head the company. Worst of all, it seems I am to be the tournament's final participant." Now, from what I've read, this isn't really a confirmation or a hint at Professor Layton being in the game at all. All it is just the official Nintendo magazine, O&M, having a little bit of fun with the prospect. I personally, though, I could see Professor Layton getting in because he is a pretty major. He's a major Nintendo contender. He's only on Nintendo consoles. He's entirely on handhelds, but he still would be an interesting choice for a character. How his moveset would go, I don't know. I've heard that the Professor Layton games are really a puzzles type of series. But yeah, the next choice, of course, would be I was talking about Namco. Namco is working on the game, and they'd probably be the next choice to add a character in. And over there's several possibilities. The only real one I can see getting in is Pac-Man, and I don't think Pac-Man's a good choice. But that said, let's take a step back a second and look at their arguably, I would argue that it is their biggest series, but some people might argue against it. The Tales series. And out of the Tales series, the only real choice would be Lloyd Irving. Lloyd, of course, his debut game was on GameCube. Tales of Symphonia. He's the main character of that game. He's a sword wielder, but he's a dual sword wielder, which would be unique for Smash Bros. Plus, they've got all the skills, all the special attacks and tech attacks and everything from the Tales series that Lloyd can be throwing at people. Demon Fang, Tiger Blade, all those kinds of things will work well as a moveset for Lloyd Irving. And personally, he'd be a far better choice than Pac-Man from Namco. He was also in Dawn of the New World, which was on Wii, and apparently there's a recently announced Tales of the World game for, I believe, 3DS. And not a lot of recent games have been released on Wii U or anything for Tales. But it could be interesting if Nintendo kind of goes and says, well, Namco, if you go and release like a few of your Tales games, such as um, Tales of Tales of Zestiria, and of course Tales of Symphonia Chronicles on the Wii U, we'll let Lloyd get in the game. That'd be really cool, I think. Even if it's only a download, that'd still be better than nothing. So yeah, I think that'd be really cool to see Lloyd in there, and he's really the only choice I could see from Tails. Otherwise, if it's a Namco character, it's gonna be Pac-Man. It's just gonna be Pac-Man. I'm sorry. Well, that basically wraps up this discussion for now. I had originally added myself a little rant slash apology to in regards to some of the posts I've been posting up online. I'm now going to make that a separate video, so stay tuned for that. Just go ahead and take a look at it. By the time this video is up, I'm probably gonna upload both at the same time anyway, so it depends. Anyway, if you like this discussion, please if you hey guys, if you like this video, please rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Anything will help me, and if I get more help and more views in my profile, more likes, just anything to raise attention awareness of my videos. It'll really help me to make more in the future if you like them. If you don't like them, well, I guess you can dislike me if you want. Just please comment and let me know ways I can actually improve these videos. I'm still working on them. Just let me know if there's anything I can do to improve, and because it's really appreciated. I know I'm just starting off recently, so I'm probably not like the best video maker out there, but I want to do better. So just let me know. Post a comment. Give me some feedback. Anything that will help me out. Thanks, guys, and until next time, just have fun on the internet.